Matt, not the result we wanted tonight. What are your overriding thoughts after that one?
Just a little bit short in some aspects of our play. It was a difficult evening to use the ball, so we somehow had to affect that ball in a different way, and they probably outcompeted us for the large majority of that game. Got to that ball first, and when we did get to it, we didn't quite use it well enough. I sound like a broken record, but the goals came out of nothing, a goal kick and a throw in again. So that's another frustrating factor, because if you're not having a particularly good night in relation to the ball, then you've just got to withstand any pressure or any opportunities against, and keep it at zero for the opposition. We didn't quite do that. Looked like we got back in the game early in the second half, which is why that second goal is a bit of a killer, and then you're chasing the game and forcing it, and a bit of desperation sets in towards the end.
I mean, I think you could see early on from Harrogate they were going to be a tough side to break down. They stuck to their banks forward at the back, and that seemed to go on throughout the game, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's what you do when you're playing against ourselves. You take away the space. Like I say, it was a difficult evening to move the ball on, or a difficult surface to move the ball on, and a difficult night to get control of the ball. We very rarely got that ball in a clean position, any of our attacking players. When we did, I think Joel had a half chance in the first half, but it didn't quite happen often enough. And like I say, then you've just got to really outcompete, and that was our message at the end in terms of the break. Just get to the first ball and win that first ball. We did that in terms of getting the equaliser. We just didn't quite continue that. But like I say, that game should stay level for longer in the second half.
I mean, from the restart, within 10 seconds we were level, which is obviously the perfect start. I mean, a lot of people probably would have fancied us to go on and win at that point.
Look, we got very little joy out of their centre halves this evening, and that was one of the few occasions we actually got some joy out of their centre halves, and a bit of belief in that we were going to get that first bit of joy, and Jake Taylor's gambled on the second ball. So that was a perfect start to the second half. Didn't quite materialise in terms of what we were trying to do after that. Threatened in certain areas, but like I say, that second goal was a real killer. Then we're chasing the game, they can sit back and invite pressure on. And then we come a little bit disjointed in terms of how we need to get that ball closer to their goal.
We saw a change to start in line-up, one change. Alex Archer's in for Tom Parks. Was that a fitness thing? Well,
Tom's had not a difficult week, a brilliant week. He's had another child, and on the back of Saturday, just his fatigue levels. He's barely slept for 4 or 5 days. So trying to look after Tom to a certain extent. But Alex has been chomping at a bit in terms of his opportunity. So much of his game was good tonight. Looked pacey, looked powerful. He won his headers. But we get judged on those moments, and those 2 goals will come down to obviously Alex and then the centre half pairing.
And obviously when you brought on Jake Caprice, we saw you keep Josh Key on the field as well, so Josh went up into the midfield position. Is that something you want to experiment more with now that Jake's
I just needed some more honesty at the top end of the pitch. I just needed the top end of the pitch just to compete no matter what. They didn't always have to win the first ball, but they certainly had to affect the opposition back line more than they did. I felt we didn't do that all evening, to be honest with you. Josh Key's an honest kid. He looked like he didn't quite have it in his legs towards the end.
On to Saturday then, or not as the case may be. Are you sort of happy that we've not got a game before?
No, I'll be honest with you, I'm really disappointed. We want as many games as we can. We want to keep them coming. We don't want them built up towards the end of the season. So we're disappointed in relation to that game being cancelled, whatever the reason is behind that. Obviously we've played against teams in different circumstances at different times this season, so it's certainly a strange one from our point of view. But the lads will have obviously a free Saturday, so to speak, but then we've got to train well next week regarding the Boxing Day game.
In terms of training, does anything change for you now, or is it exactly the same whether there's a game or not?
Exactly the same. Obviously it changes slightly on the back of not travelling Friday and no game on the Saturday. So we'll train sort of Thursday, Friday. We're looking for not an in-house game, but a game of such to try and get some minutes in some of those legs. So Nigel will get back on the pitch, and Lewis Page isn't far away, Lewis Ward as well. So we could do with a game, and if we have to have a training game, it's never quite the same. So we're trying to find an opposition for maybe Friday, Monday, but we'll assess that as the week goes on.